Alright, for part C, we're trying to solve the differential equation when we're given the information that f of negative 1 equals 2. So our first step in this is always to separate the variables. We're going to multiply both sides by dx. We get dy equals negative xy squared over 2 dx. Now we need to get that y squared to the other side, so we're going to divide by y squared, or we can think of it as multiplying by 1 over y squared. So we end up with 1 over y squared dy equals, I'm going to write this as negative 1/2 x dx. So we've successfully separated the variables, the y's and the dy on one side, x and dx on the other. This is worth 1 point. Then next step is to take the antiderivative of each side. And in this process, there are 3 points awarded. 1 for the antiderivative of this. This is like y to the negative second, so we would add 1 to the exponent, divide by that new exponent, so we get negative y to the negative first, so that's 1 point. Antiderivative of negative 1/2 x is another point. We end up adding 1 to the exponent, divide by 2, we get negative 1/4 x squared, and then the plus c is worth 1 point. Then we need to solve for c. So we're going to use our given information about that point and plug it in to figure out what c is. So if we put 2 in for y over here, we get negative 1/2 equals negative 1/4 times negative 1 squared plus c. Oops, so negative 1/4 plus c equals negative 1/2. You can add 1/4 to both sides and we get c equals negative 1/4. So this is another point. So that's our 5th point for this problem. There's 1 point left solving this equation for y. So we have negative y to the negative first. I'm going to write it as negative 1 over y equals negative 1/4 x squared minus 1/4. So we need to solve for y. First thing, we need to get it out of that denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by y. We get negative 1 equals negative 1/4 x squared minus 1/4 times y. Now to get y by itself, we're just going to divide. So we can leave it like this, negative 1 over negative 1/4 x squared minus 1/4. But since all of these are negative, really we can factor out the negative, or we could think of it as multiplying top and bottom by negative 1, just to get rid of all those negatives. That would be 1 over 1/4 x squared plus 1/4. Again, if you left it like this, you're not getting any points deducted, that's fine. You can write it like this. This would be an acceptable answer. And on the AP rubric that we have, you can see it's written as a different final answer. If you multiply the top and bottom by 4, that gets rid of the fractions in the fraction. So we get 4 over x squared plus 1. So there's really, any of those are correct answers. This is the most simplified, and like I've said before, free response doesn't have to be the most simplified. As long as it's a form of the correct answer, you get full credit.